Hey there. Um, this just popped into my head because if I don't do it now, it won't ever get said. But it's important because Carrie Cassidy, who's with Project Camelot video blog, um, one of the uh, one of the older whistleblowers. She's not a whistleblower. She's a journalist, a video journalist. But she's been interviewing a whole cross section of whistleblowers that come out of all the intelligence agencies, the military, the political system, the educational system, all of it, actually. And so she's covered a broad spectrum of individuals that have come forward, of which it was integrated through, if you will, Miles Johnson, who was part of the Basis Project, who was a BBC journalist, and he's probably the oldest. I always give kudos to Miles. I love you, Miles. Brave guy, man. He put it all out there before anybody, really. And he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that you could watch between now and the cow jumps over the moon, learning and learning and learning and learning about information, more information that the vast majority of people have just not heard. I figure that most people understand what RF programming is. You turn a TV set on, that's programming. That's why they call it programming. And that's what they do to program people. They just didn't know. When the first black and white TVs came out, when I was a small child, I think it was mid 50s, somewhere right around there, I told my dad, that TV's trying to program me. Okay? Because the information that is coming out of that television set is being recorded into my unconscious memory. I don't want to experience that shit. That's not what I am. I'm going out to hang out with a girl on the planet. I'm going to go surfing. Bye. I choose my reality, not one that's trying to program me. Start with that. Okay. 3 is information sciences when you get into the genetic side of things, because one of the things that she covered in her most recent video, which was a couple of days ago, she talked about ET influence and the impact on the human genome. Okay? Genetic information sciences. Okay? A double spiral, binary, 2 poles, polarity, RF, right? Electromagnetic, horizontal, vertical waves, right? Spin up, go up, give you lift, right? Then you have gravity, right? What holds us down? Gravity, anti-gravity. Okay? So what happens is that a point that she was trying to make is how all the interferences between the different factions and the different groups, controllers, dominators, and controllers, over what? What you experience. Because what you experience is recorded, and your DNA is basically a holographic projection system, okay, in which the soul is experiencing the events on the event horizon, okay, which is known as a magnetic moment. So what we're talking about here, because I'm fully familiar with everything that they did here, okay, thank you, Patty Broussard, particularly breaking down all the genetics, okay, they made over 300,000 edit changes. Edit, like edit a program, okay, programming the matter, okay, to the human genome. The original human blueprint used to be 3-pole. Positive, positive, positive. Okay, that created a tesseract. That's a hypercube. That's hyperspace. Bye. Teleportation, self-repair. Self-assembly, right? Self-assembly. Yeah, it's that intelligent. You lose data, put the data back in there. That's what the 3rd pole does. That's known as the engineering department for the information. The original information of the operating system, which is no different than a bootloader that does an error check on a laptop. A Windows operating system, an Apple operating system. If all the data is not there in which it's supposed to operate without a virus in it, what does it do? Gets rid of the bad data, puts the good data in there so that you got a nice, clean operating system that hasn't been contaminated. That's what a virus is. Poisoning. So how does this show up? Biofeedback, which means now your energetic body is experiencing the result of what you do with your energy. your mind's energy. So as she was explaining about, we've been sort of stuck in a time loop. So it's like, yeah, and 3D being held down at the 55 harmonic scale because the consciousness cannot rise. Well, what do you expect when you're driving down all your neurons? How much you're aware of. It's called going in reverse. So doing things that don't serve you is not only driving down your neuron production, but draining your own battery. And where does that show up? In a feedback loop. As a result of how much sickness, how much pain, how much suffering we experience. And guess what they do? They're waiting there with their cash registers. Okay? They make money off of all of our pain and suffering. What kind of beings are these? They're demons. Okay? They got no love for you. They see you as nothing more than a commodity. Okay? So I've explained in all my videos that go all the way back to number 1. I covered a lot of material because I realized school was out and we're out of time. I figured at some point in time, go look in the mirror, okay, like I do, and what do you feel? Not necessarily what you see, what you feel in your heart. Going deep down into your heart. And ask yourself who you are. Ask yourself the kind of future that you want. Because that's what's happening. I was told that. I already knew that. That's why I knew when the bell rang, it's time to go. Because I know what I am and I know who's here. So they're kicking their ass as we speak. They declared war on us. We declare war on them. So we got 22 other ET races that are up above us that are assisting us in support of humanity to end the insanity. So most everybody that I meet are programmed units. They believed everything that they were told naturally, so that you're draining your own battery and they make money off it. And that allows them to better control you by what? Putting up cages, guys with badges and guns. And what does that do? Reinforce the same programming. Fear-based. Fear vibrates at 100 megahertz. Love is far more powerful than that. They don't want you running that. So they figure if they can get you so you don't love who you are, they got you. Now they can kill you off when they're done with you. That's why I'm in the business of healing. Right? Yeah. Okay. So I've done the best I can while I've been here. Okay? So it's like anything else. You can walk with a horse, become its friend, give it love like crazy. Okay? And lead it to water. Right? Living water. Living spirit. Okay? Life force. The living life force that is in that spring water. So when you choose to give consent to having your living life force water polluted and contaminated, what happens? Let's go feedback. So what happens is you get stuck in a time matrix, which means you keep going over and over and over again expecting a different result, and you never get anywhere. And why is that? Because your speed, your frequency, your RF is not going up. The speed of the wave. You're running on low power all the time. Well, all that information is what? Being recorded in your genome, in your DNA, which is called DNA sequencing. The sequence of your timeline. So what they do is they predict your timeline. And that's pretty easy to do when they see people that are deliberately doing things to drain their own battery. That means that it's pretty easy to predict you're going to collapse your own timeline, which is an extinction event. Which essentially means you're choosing to go extinct. Because they believed in demons. So they essentially recorded into their unconscious memory what was presented to them and then ran it. Without realizing how they were draining their own battery. And that's called inverted. And that's what they do. What's his name? I can't remember his first name. Geddes, bass player for the group Rush. I caught a video when they were performing, I think it was at Dallas, and they were in between songs, and before they started the next song, he said to everybody out in the crowd, we're going back, and he said, when they were going to go to the song and kick up another one, he said, going in reverse. Okay, they knew. Who do you think they work for? Go look at what's on the drum of Neil Peart. Okay, go look at this sign. Go look at a live video, and you'll see people in the crowd going like this. Horns, Baphomet, Satanists. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going in reverse. Reverse programming drains your battery, drives down your neurons, and it means you go extinct. How can you evolve that way? Right? So this is sort of where the rubber hits the pavement. So based on the information that Patty gave me, I pretty much figured that when she said, what was it? There won't be anybody left in here by the end of September. Now, I realize, she's not the only player in this, and neither am I, obviously, because I don't worry about future events. Okay? Because I already know where I'm going. Okay? Because of how much love I have in my heart that I try to give everybody that's out there as a result of what happened here, so they can restore their memory of who they are, if that's possible. Hybrid breeding programs is one of the biggest crimes I know among all the other crimes that I compiled or all the data that I collect from the moment I was a child and I realized what was going on. Because the data that I collect and I dumped and recorded and it's in the record, it's massive. Of what I put together down here. Remember, a big puzzle? But what we're really talking about here at the end of the day is an evolution of a species. And in this case, we're talking about a spectrum, a broad spectrum. And she hit on that point. Because of the massive contamination, the vaccinations that they did, the nanotech they threw at everybody, and then, of course, everything that they put into the food supply.